everyone, and thanks for coming. My name is Thomas Gossens, and I'm going to talk about SyncIt. So what's SyncIt? SyncIt is a new framework on Mountain Lion, and its goal is to simplify the integration of 3D in applications. There are many use cases for 3D in applications. For instance, sometimes it is used in 3D user interfaces, like the book template chooser in iPhoto, or CoverFlow in iTunes, and Finder or Safari Stop Site, etc. Slideshows and presentations are another common use case for 3D to make the animation nicer and more impressive. Data visualization for scientist applications or for the 3D charting keynotes. This is another use case for 3D. And games, obviously, where 3D is commonly used there. And so for these use cases, OS X provides some low-level APIs, which are OpenGL and its associated technologies. So these APIs are very highly performant. They have a very strong foundation. You can do a lot of things with it. However, since they are low-level, they require a lot of advanced skills in computer graphics. And even if you want to do some relatively simple things, you will have to write quite a lot of complex code. So that's why we introduced SyncIt today. SyncIt is a high-level API that is built on top of OpenGL and that operates on a scene graph. And this is a key difference with OpenGL. OpenGL is a procedural API where for every frame you call some draw commands, set some states, and you do this for each object, frame per frame, to render your scene. With SyncIt, you describe the scene once, you change some properties of your scene when you want, but then you let SyncIt manages everything and manages the rendering for you. SyncIt is an Objective-C API. You can use it for all the use cases I mentioned before. It is not tied to a particular use case. It's integrated with Coco and Coordination for a seamless and simple integration into applications. So what can you do with SyncIt? SyncIt essentially allows you to do three things. You can load a scene from a file. You can manipulate the objects of your scene programmatically. And finally, you can render that scene onto the screen. So let's focus on the first part for now, loading a 3D file, and see why it's important to work with 3D files. The first reason is because it's easier to create complex scenes using 3D software. I mean, complex geometries or complex trajectories are usually created with dedicated tools. The second reason is that the more information you will put into your 3D files, the less code you will have to write, and so this will minimize the number of bugs in your code. And the last reason is that working with a 3D file allows you to work with artists. The artists work to build the nicest 3D scene on their side, while you can focus on your code and so work in parallel with artists. SyncIt allows you to load 3D scenes from DAE documents. DAE stands for Digital Asset Exchange. It's an XML-based file format. It is supported by most of the major 3D software like 3ds Max, Maya, Modo, Cinema 4D, etc., etc. And it is adopted in the industry. For instance, it is used by SketchUp, or more recently, it was adopted by iBooks and iBooks Author for their 3D widgets. A DAE file can describe a lot of things in your 3D scene. It can, of course, describe all the geometry information of your 3D objects, but it can also describe some animations, all the material colors, references to images, all the lighting of your scene, the different point of views to render your scene, and some advanced features like the skinning and morphing. Loading such DAE file is straightforward with SceneKit. It can be done with just one single line of code. So typically you will start by getting the URL to your DAE document using NSBundle. And once you have your URL, you can load your scene using scene with URL options error on the SCN scene class. This will load the DAE file and return a new instance of a SCN scene. Once you have your scene loaded, you may want to render it, for instance, in a view. To do that, SceneKit provides a SCN view object. A SCN view is a subclass of an NS view that has a capability to render a 3D scene. So just allocate a SCN view and then set your scene previously loaded to your view using the scene property of the SCN view. Another way to create a SCN view is to use Interface Builder. So to do this, just drag and drop a SCN view object from the Interface Builder library into your user interface, and then you are done. So let me show you those two first things in a quick demo. So for this first demo, I will start with a very basic example. Let's say I want to build a simple slideshow to show my images from the iPhoto library or whatever source into a nice 3D animation for my slideshow. So I asked my artist to build a nice animation in his 3D tool, and he sent me a DAE document. So here there is my slideshow.DAE, and since Snow Leopard, you can preview DAE files using a quick look or preview. So if I double click on the DAE file, I can open it in preview,